Hi, we're the British Wedding Film Festival, and we put this thing together to celebrate and elevate the wedding filmmaking industry.
Submit your wedding film to one or more of our many different categories, each one celebrating all the different aspects of wedding filmmaking. Just choose the category that you feel best represents your work. There's no limit on how many films you can enter or categories, and the entries close on the 1st of December.
Your films will be evaluated by a panel of industry experts, including filmmakers, producers, and other professionals. The panel is diverse with individuals from varied cultural, geographic, and creative philosophies.
On the 9th of February 2026, we'll gather at the Manchester Art Gallery to celebrate the best in wedding filmmaking. An evening of stories, creativity, and community. And we'll screen the best films, announce this year's winners live on stage.
Entries close on the 1st of December, and tickets for the event are available now. Go to BritishWeddingFilmFestival.com.
Jason,
Danny,
how we doing, buddy?
feeling good? I got a new car.
Oh yeah, because your car was a write-off.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know if that was public or not, but yeah,
Was nobody went to know.
Who knows? But the the car accident that was in October. Eventually, they got back to me, told me that the car was a write-off.
I can't believe it was a write-off for like hitting you at 30 mile an hour.
It was a bloody camper van.
I know, but still.
An Arctic lorry would have done less damage.
An Arctic lorry would have done. Oh, you're getting Aberdonian there because you're getting angry. You can hear it, folks. It comes out.
I knew it was going to be just because I know when something gets hit in the back, it's recording. Don't worry, Danny. It's recording.
I just like to double check.
Jesus,
I just like to double check. I don't want to get through a whole podcast and.
Well, you don't have to because I've got it sorted, mate.
Look, you're still Aberdonian. Look, you're angry. Why are you angry?
I'm angry because my car got written off the road. You can't fit like. It's an awful nightmare when your car gets written off the road.
We're gonna have to put subtitles. How do you do subtitles on a podcast?
Nah, I knew as soon as it got hit that's probably going to be a write-off. Just whenever something gets hit in the back, and you just know there's going to be something sinister underneath. So yeah, they told me it got written off.
30 mile an hour though.
I know.
I mean, I feel like they've just went, nah, can't be bothered.
I mean, it was an older car.
Not that old. What was it? A 17 plate?
18.
What year is it?
Well, it's 7 years old.
What year is
That'd
it?
be a car at 7 years old. Anything if it's over half the value, they're not going to fix it. Yeah. So the car was only worth like $9,000. So if you're £4,500 of damage, a new chassis is over that.
So you've got a new whip,
got a new car, and it's a thirsty girl. It's a thirsty girl. I was driving. It is a hybrid, but I don't have a charger, so that'll be interesting to figure that out just now. But
solar panels.
Yeah, I filled it up. It said it could only do 300 miles. I stuck it in the sport mode, and then it went from 300 miles to you've got 240 left in the tank.
But see, this is the problem with petrol over diesel because you had diesel before, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. See,
this is a temporary bit of fun because it's a nice little car. It's a good looking car. Makes me feel
nice alloys.
Yeah, nice alloys. They're getting screwed.
Yeah.
I'm terrible with the alloys. Yeah. But that was fun. So yeah, new car.
Did park it for you?
Well, I tell you.
Rob did.
I tell you,
Birmingham.
Oh my God, right. But I'm quite happy with like the parking. I've got cameras all around. I can see everything. Like this morning there was a lassie over at the house who was talking to us about AJ's teeth.
Okay.
And she parked right behind my car, and I managed to navigate through because of all the cameras in this fancy car. It was very nice. Cameras are great. That's it. I kind of want the tech. I didn't want to get an old banger because I've got needs, techie needs.
Well, what's been happening with me? So I had another viral reel.
Oh yes, so you did.
Which, to be honest, I mean, I didn't think anything was going to really come of it. I thought it was mildly amusing. So for those of you that haven't seen it, essentially all the bridesmaids and groomsmen are walking down basically towards the marquee kind of thing. It wasn't a marquee, but yeah, we'll just call it that. But and it was raining, so they're all holding the brolly, and the one bridesmaid gets to the end of the aisle with the groomsman, and he's trying to put the brolly away, and she's just basically legs it down. And it was quite funny. I thought it was mildly amusing, but it's done like 19 million views.
Crazy. It's always the ones you don't expect.
Which I just wasn't expecting that. It's interesting though, like, because see the difference. So obviously, like, I put it up on Instagram, and like within 24 hours, it was already at something like 9 million or something like that. And then but if I look on TikTok, it's funny how it's different. Like, because that's done 754,000. And like the the celebrant one that I had with the kilt, so that done like 34 million on Instagram, and I think the max it's done on TikTok it's 1.5.
But you got to remember, it's different audiences, because I don't use TikTok that often. I use Instagram Reels for my entertainment. I don't log into TikTok that often.
Yeah.
And this is the same. There's different audiences looking for different things.
Yeah, it's weird though. But yeah, TikTok, it's a bit of a beast. But speaking of TikTok, we have a guest on the podcast with us today who has been doing pretty damn well on TikTok as of late. Seemed to have got into it quite early on. And yeah, it has some pretty engaging content on there. Another photographer. We do bring photographers on the Videographer podcast because photographers, they can still teach us things. Yeah, we're really looking forward to speaking with Mr. Adam Lowndes from Adam Lowndes Photography. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm really good. So I've literally just watched that Instagram reel that you just mentioned. As I already said, I like to be prepared. So yeah, I'm fully loaded and ready for a conversation about why it works on there and doesn't work on there or whatnot.
Oh, interesting. We might get the goss. Looking forward to it. Yeah, it was interesting. I wasn't expecting it to do as much as it done on Instagram because I thought it was just mildly amusing. But it was interesting to see because the average watch time was the whole length of the reel, which I think has helped it with the virality.
Oh, for
and
sure.
I think that's probably because people are trying to wonder what's actually going on with it.
Why is this so good?
Why is it funny? Why are people laughing?
I mean, I
Let's
did read
watch
some of
it
the
again.
comments, and it was just slating that this is not even funny.
I had one. Do you know what? I had one, and I really wanted to say something back to him that was more than what I did actually say to him. But I had to
Why do you
remember.
get involved?
I know. Because,
Just let them battle it out in the comments. That's
but-
free engagement.
But he's like, Rizzo Films, if this is what you deem as quality content, you can keep it.
Wow.
So I just sent a little blown kiss emoji, but really I wanted to say, well, this comment aged well, mate. 18 million, 19 million views, you prick. Anyway.
Are we sharing bad comments? Do you want one from mine?
Oh, go for it.
Shall I go straight in there? So I've been doing a little. I know we're talking about TikTok coming up, but I've been doing a little experimental thing with trial reels. Do you guys know?
That was a trial reel, yeah.
Yeah. So I've been hammering trial reels at the moment. I love that it doesn't disrupt my
Grid.
my grid, and it makes everything look all pretty, and it can still look like that. And I got a trial reel up to 604,000. Let's have a look. Where is that comment that was so tasty? Let's have a look. Right, are you ready for this?
Go for it.
Too staged. Sorry, I'm not a fan of staging. Just to make the photographer look good. Sorry, I just do not shoot like this. You're not telling the story. You're trying to make yourself look good. Very sorry for the criticism. And yes, I shoot weddings. I would never do that. You're destroying the moment they're loved by trying to create something that you don't need to create. You're missing all the gold moments because you're too obsessed with creating the image that you want. That's not storytelling.
Damn.
Wow. Talk about getting put in your place, Adam.
I know. And then so I was like, I'm really good at not biting back, but at this point I was like, I really wanted to say something. I obviously went through his work. I've been on his website.
I know his date of birth, his national.
I need to make myself feel good today. So I thought, had I not brought them out there, they wouldn't be there to begin with. So technically, there is no story to shoot. And then he put, love your work, mate, but please don't steal their story. I'm like, what story?
What is he talking about?
I don't know what's going on, but yeah, that one got me hot.
Folk are wild.
I bit to that one, yeah.
Folk are wild.
Yeah,
Do you know the one thing I hate? And sorry, we'll get on to doing a proper intro to you in a second, Adam. Do you know what I hate? See, like when you post something and it does go viral, it's the constant policing of the bloody comments.
Yeah.
Because then, see the amount of comments that were like with that bridesmaid, they're like, oh my God, just having to make it all about her. Oh yeah, typical women and all that. And I'm just like fuck it.
People
Absolute
are
misogynistic nonsense.
Savage.
And I'm just like, mate, she's just excited to get down the aisle and like not thought about, like she's not doing it intentionally. You can tell
That
it's not
is
intentional.
definitely the worst part of this. I mean, like I've had like a few viral hits in the past, and it is just policing all the time, and
It's brutal.
like people are just miserable. I remember one recently where it was a mum of a bride, and she was like, "If my daughter did this for her wedding, I would never go to her wedding." And I was like, "Oh, okay, Jen."
Okay, Canna.
Like, Christ.
It's even worse. Like I do a lot of same-sex weddings, and if you have a same-sex wedding, it can get really bad with stuff like that. But
See
you,
if
like
it
you say,
hits,
just
see if
like,
it
you just
hits
have to release
Russia.
it.
If it hits, I had one of my ones.
Yeah.
It seemed to the algorithm put it to Russia. I don't know why it done that. And yeah, I felt like every 20 minutes I'm just deleting another comment.
Yeah.
I had to turn comments off of it actually, because it was taking up too much of my time, and I didn't want the couple, seeing it because it was brutal. It's grim.
But we swear
Anyway.
that social media is good.
Anyway, we digress massively because we've still not introduced our guest. Adam, let's if you can tell people a little bit about you, what you do, your business, how long you've been doing it for, a little bit of background about you, just to set the scene, please.
Yeah, okay, so I'm a wedding photographer, not sorry. And yeah, I've been doing this for 15 years now. It's been about 7 or 8 years. I'm a bit like you, Danny. I was like, what year are we in? 7 or 8 years full time. And yeah, predominantly now focus all of my attention locally to home. We've got a family. I want to be 30 minutes from my house and then back in bed, but charging the most I can possibly charge. Just for context with that, I charge around 2,250 at the moment. That's my bottom end, straight up to 3.5 grand, depending on the wedding and what I have to do to sort of like on the day. For example, a wedding on the South Coast that starts at 12 in a church and then goes on to another venue is obviously going to be more towards that 3.5 grand mark.
Yeah.
And then a wedding down the road from me is more towards the bottom end of 2 grand mark. But yeah. And yeah, I've always been into social media since the days of MySpace, and I don't know if you know what DeviantArt was, but I was a big user of that back there as well. And yeah,
you're giving away your age here, Adam.
Yeah, big time. And I can remember like when broadband came out, I had a summer of broadband basically. I was just that obsessed with it.
Remember
stuff,
that?
so, yeah.
And it was like a meg. It was like 1 meg. But no one, if the younger audience is going to be like, what are they talking about? But at least it meant that when someone phoned, the internet didn't cut out.
Mm-hmm. I no longer had to
MSN 24/7.
Yeah, no longer had to abandon my Age of Empires conquest because my mum needed to call my gran. Like, oh, man.
Red alert.
Yeah, I got so excited. I mean, straight away tangent. I got so excited recently when I saw Age of Empires was coming back and it was going to be on mobile. I meant only to download it and it'd just be one of these clickbaity games.
I just knew it would be.
Crap.
There's no way you could play that on a phone and enjoy it.
It's so bad. I played it for a little bit and I was just like, nah, this is just not Age of Empires. I just want Red. It's crap. Ugh. Anyway, what did you do before photography?
Oh, so way back, I studied at uni to be a computer games designer. So yeah,
okay.
Go figure with those kind of things, and sort of didn't really enjoy that. I was working at Tesco at the time, just as a job, 15 hours a week, and then just went into doing full time that. So I worked through retail and worked my way up to like these big extra stores. I used to run half of that with my team, managers and colleagues, and I got to a point where I was like, going down the motorway crying, crying, coming back from work and thinking, oh my God, 40 more years of this, I cannot do this.
Yeah.
And then I moved closer to home, dropped a level within my job to sort of like try something else and started applying for loads of stuff. No one had had me because I got no experience in anything, didn't want to do computer games design, was already kind of doing weddings on the side at this time as just 5 to 10 a year. And then I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go for it and sort of set a date of a year's time. And then left my job and never went back. But in that kind of gap, my wife got AML, which is leukemia. So it's a cancer of the blood. She almost died. That was pretty aggressive. And that just sort of cemented my decision as like, well, I could be on that bed tomorrow, because she had no pre-existing issues or anything. It was just out of the blue, and I thought, let's just go for it, because even if I fail, at least at 60 I can say I tried. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So sorry to bring the tone down.
No.
Age of Empires. Let's go.
We've had a few conversations with people where there's been life-altering moments that really kind of put things in perspective, and I think I was kind of similar to you. I did my my stint at Tesco and through retail and things like that. And I remember I'd literally walk into the store, just go, that was my metaphor of like, okay, if I'm starting to do that, things are getting bad, man. It's just, when you're not doing something that you're passionate about, it can, and clearly you've got a lot of passion about the things you love to do. So it can really grate on you if you're not doing the things. So and when something like that happens, it just reminds you, actually, you know what? We've got one shot at this. Let's give it a go.
Yeah.
It's a pretty bizarre thing to be like almost grateful for something like that happening in a weird way, where it kind of gives you like the perspective you need. I'm always a big believer in like this kind of like, you know, like peaks and valleys. Yeah, I can do video things on this podcast. This is great. Peaks and valleys of life, because then they give you perspective for big moments, don't they? So like without the valley, it's like the peaks wouldn't be so sweet and you wouldn't enjoy them so much. So yeah, it's a kind of weird thing to sort of be like, oh well, that brought so much to my life, but obviously wouldn't want it to happen. Like if it was going to happen again, I would have learned that some other way.
Can I like just deviate from the traditional questions, because I don't know if we've got space for this anywhere else in the podcast, but you said something that I wanted to ask. When you were talking about your pricing, it was kind of dynamic there. So you're doing one price for local and then a different price for away. Have you just got like a range? Like, do you have like a set, okay, that's certain miles away, I'm going to add that to it? Or like, how does your pricing work with that?
So I've got 4 base prices. So it's 2,250, 2,500, 2,750, and then $3,000. And then add like 500 or whatever onto them to mint for an album or whatever to take up to that 3.5 would be the top one. And then I get the wedding inquiry. My inquiry form has, for example, the ceremony start time, and then the venues. I want to know all the venues. So if there's more than one, like obviously religious weddings, I want to know that. So like before in the past, I'd be like, what's your favorite pizza topping? And now I'm like, tell me the logistics of your wedding day. I want to like micromanage it in the best way where I can deliver the best thing. Yeah. And, you know, for example, if they come to me, there's venues near where I live that I'm referred at. They don't like the couple on site till 10:30. So I know that's always a great one, that is. And I don't normally start till 2 hours before the ceremony and then finish like an hour after first dance. That's like my minimum coverage with all these times. So if they're getting married at say 1 o'clock, I'll turn up at 11, finish at like say 9, and it's all great. Whereas like I've done a few weddings this year, like I said before, like in Ireland or like South Coast and stuff like that, whereas like, you know, they need like almost days before or like nights before planned, or even like ones that just need like me to leave early in the morning to stop me from getting my daughter out of bed and stuff like that. It's going to restrict family life in that way. So I feel like you need to be financially compensated for that, especially weddings which are bigger as well.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
I'm recovering from a cold a bit. But,
aren't we all?
Yeah. So yeah, weddings that are bigger as well, you need to manage more people. Weddings that are in multiple places, you need to drive between them, so it's more of a headache. I just don't believe that weddings are exactly the same every time and just demand one price. Like I feel like some of the weddings I do are so simplistic that they deserve that saving in a way.
Yeah. And do you model that to the couple in any way, or is it just like, okay, these are my brochures, I'll send that one out because I believe all these things apply? They don't know any of these logistics.
Yeah, so on my side, it says something around bespoke pricing for each wedding. So in a way, it's not super bespoke. It's only like one of 4 options. But sometimes when they want less than, say, 7 hours or something, I will do a completely bespoke price. Yeah. And yeah, the couple don't know that. They submit that information. I send out a hidden page on my website and a different quote on Studio Ninja.
Nice. All right. Yeah. One for thoughts.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like
it's just, I don't know about you, but like I've driven to weddings before where I've gone like, how am I charging the same amount for this than I did for like 2 minutes down the road the other day? Yeah. And it almost sits on your shoulders like a negative at the start of the day. Yeah. Whereas if you drive to a wedding going, oh my God, I'm getting 500 extra for this because of the inconvenience to my life, then that makes it almost like justifiable in a way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing a lot more in England right now and I'm feeling that, but I'm not really sure on how to like package up the brochure or the packages or anything. So I've kind of for quickness, I've just been sending out, and I'm like, yeah, I'm doing that for the same price that I'm doing 1-2 miles down the road. That doesn't make sense, but it's I feel like it's expensive enough that it absorbs the travel somehow. But nah, I remember when I used to add travel. It never got booked, so I just stopped doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the couple just want the obvious price. They want to go, oh right, that's how much it is. Write that down on my spreadsheet. Yeah. Come back to that number, rather than like, oh, so it's 2,500 plus £97.50. Like, do you know what I mean? For travel.
But it's like the same. I treat anyone's in England, I'll treat it the same way that I'll do if I have a destination wedding, which I just give them the one price and I add the travel onto that price anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The English tax.
I have to breathe your air for 24 hours.
I need to get conversations about legal tender.
There is a great story about legal tender that I'm sure we've spoken about. I was telling Gene about that the other
Well,
day.
the legal tender one?
So I'll tell you quickly, and then we'll definitely get back on. Right, we're on a trip to Ireland, in Northern Ireland, right? So we were still in the UK, on a workshop with these videographers from the States, and Danny brought over his Scottish money, desperate for a conversation to happen when someone would refuse the tender because it didn't look like normal money. So we drive down to this styled shoot in just outside Dublin from Northern Ireland. And on the way back from the styled shoot, we go into this bar where we're going to get some dinner. And Daddy goes up to buy a drink, puts down a £20 note, and the guy's like, "Oh no, we can't accept that here." My ears pricked up. I was like, "Daddy, no." He's like, "That is legal tender." It's like, "We're in Ireland. This is Europe. We take euros here, Danny."
Whoops.
Your legal
I
tender.
was like, "Do you take card?"
Have you seen Lumix have just announced another new camera, the S12?
Well, you know I have.
This camera is chocked full of features that wedding videographers like you are going to love, including 5.1K open gate at 50 frames a second for the first time.
Incredible slow-mo footage at 100 frames a second in 4K.
Best in class image stabilization.
And also a new and improved hybrid phase detect autofocus.
You can get your hands on this camera by loaning it for up to 48 hours. Just visit the Lumix store.
And if you do decide that this is the camera for you, remember to use code TWVP at the Lumix store for 10% off. That's right, 10% off this brand new camera that we believe is the perfect camera for wedding filmmakers.
Right. Who wants to find out about social media?
Yes, me. Because, and I think we came across you, Adam, because we'd seen some of your 360, because you've been utilizing is it the Insta 360 cam?
Yeah, so the X3, X4, X5 now.
Yeah. So, which, we have seen people use it before. You've used it before.
I used it before.
Quite a lot of people use it. I know that Josh Huggett, he uses it quite often. And it is a pretty cool perspective. But you've kind of been using it for a wee while, delivering that content for quite some time. I've got quite good at it. And I've been doing pretty well on the likes of TikTok, which I think for most people still the favoured platform is still Instagram. I would say for the majority of people it's still Instagram. But when you're
talking about that, are you talking about suppliers or are you talking about like customers? Go on.
Favoured by suppliers. I would say that there's a. I don't know what the makeup is in terms of like numbers, in terms of who's beating who, in terms of numbers and stuff like that. But I would say that Instagram is still the more favoured one.
I would say for videographers, absolutely, because of the music.
Yeah.
But I'd say photographers, I don't know. TikTok's probably not utilized by as many wedding suppliers as it should be because Instagram just makes things easier. I think that's
it's a barrier to entry.
Yeah.
The barrier to entry for Instagram is like simple.
Yeah.
Like put a photo on, done. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say that's accurate, but there's definitely power in TikTok. But yeah, you're right. I don't know what your point was there, but
I'm right. You don't know what the point was.
Yeah,
right?
but yeah.
No, but I'm just saying. I think for the most part, it's still kind of like Instagram's kind of like the go-to one. Like you said, the barrier to entry is a lot lower. People know how it works, and I think with TikTok, it's this like, because I think my viewpoint on TikTok is, and I think it's the reason why a lot of videographers have kind of shied away from it. I don't know, we talked about this before, Adam, but like for me, there's two things, right? So one, if I post, even if I've got the music licensing for whatever I've made through Musicbed, it'll mute the video, which is a pain in the neck. So I'm almost having to make two different types of content for two different platforms. So that's barrier number one. But barrier number two, I think, is because what seems to be in the content that I see on TikTok, it's quite it's more. I'm going to say rough and ready, but that's maybe like an over exaggeration here. But it's not as polished, for instance, as say some of the stuff that you will see on Instagram. It's more, you know, the kind of, you know, iPhone stuff or whatever that seems to do quite well.
I mean, you could even say the Insta360 stuff.
Or the Insta360 stuff.
Go for it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Rather than maybe like the polished stuff that you see on Instagram, because I don't see a massive amount of that on TikTok, but I don't know if that's just my algorithm.
I think it's... What's your take, Adam? Because we're here to listen to you.
Hand it over. Here we go. I'll just say for what's like starters, because what I don't want really is, and you know, Insta360 was sending me free cameras at one point for a while until that relationship turned a bit sour. I don't want everyone to buy Insta360s. Like, so if you listen to this now and you're like, oh, I really want to get big on TikTok, I must buy an Insta360 camera. That's not what I want at all. I mean, to be honest, I don't know why I want people on TikTok to begin with, because I'm doing so well at the platform. I'm only going to oversaturate it for myself. So I don't know why I'm on such a crusade in a way, but I just hear a lot of people moaning about things like oversaturation with Instagram, how tough it is to get seen and stuff. And meanwhile, there's this platform in the other direction where there's hardly anyone on it. No one's really worked out how to use it yet. So if you can kind of do that, a bit like I've done, then there's just mountains of money to unlock through the TikTok Creator Fund and also through inquiries. And you know, you can get yourself fully booked for a year at the moment because there's no one on the platform to compete with. So if you think about, you know, if you've ever shot at like a rare venue that doesn't really do weddings, you almost become like gold dust as a person who knows what weddings that venue look like. And then people see your blog for that wedding and they go, oh my God, where can you shoot my wedding there now? Because I'm getting married there. And, you know, it's a bit unlike these venues that do like 50 weddings a week, like where the competition is so rife because everyone's seen that stuff. That's a little bit like what TikTok is really. You know, there's not many people using it well in this community of photographers and videographers. If you can and stand out in that way, then it's so powerful. And my journey with it sort of became from the point of, I sort of had a look at my strengths as a photographer, and I realized that I wasn't really showing like one of my core strengths within my photos, which is my personality and how I am with my couples on the day and everything that I do for them that is extra. So if I'm just selling photography, I'm competing with everyone else. Whereas if I'm selling photography and this personality, then I'm going to stand a lot prouder in that way. So that was where I thought I need something that sort of shows that, and other than just writing it in the caption or maybe getting someone to come along and film, you know, iPhone footage, I wonder if I could use this 360 camera because it shows both sides of obviously the conversation. So that's how that was kind of born.
Yeah, I think it's clear to see the power, because there's a photographer in Scotland, Julianne White, who's got a fair audience on TikTok. Like, I was at a wedding show last weekend and 3 people came up to me and said, oh, we booked Julianne White. Oh, she's great on TikTok. Mm-hmm. And all she's doing is just going to a venue and talking about, you know, kind of her experience. That it's very candid conversation. You're just getting to know her. It's very different from your content. But it is the sentiments there that you're on a platform that has millions of eyeballs on it. And there's a few of those eyeballs that are wanting wedding suppliers. And if you are posting stuff in there on essentially an unsaturated, because it is unsaturated, like TikTok's not getting utilized by majority of creators. I've made bookings from TikTok this year because I shared what I was finding at wedding venues. I found this little betting slip on a chair and I spoke about it. Just talked to my phone and then just put a couple clips in. And people, like, there was an inquiry the other day that said, oh, my mum forwarded you because she likes your tutorials on how to plan a wedding on TikTok. And it just, it's crazy what's out there.
So how do you think the audience differs then between the two platforms?
So that barrier to entry is like a really big thing. So something I always talk about is that on Instagram, if you imagine one of your couples, so say for a bride, for example, she's following you. She may be following a couple of other videographers or photographers or whatever, and some of her other suppliers from the wedding. But they're mainly the people she's following who are friends and family who are going out with their normal lives. They're posting, you know, pictures of them at the Christmas markets at this time of year, things like that. So your content is almost competing with that content at the same time. And whereas on TikTok, those people like the friends and family don't post. It's only this sort of like high creators that post. So if you can imagine like almost a YouTube scenario, for example, you don't get randos posting their trips to the Christmas market and doing well or getting in the way of other people's videos and stuff like that. It's all high quality content or people with intentional content that are sitting at the top. So in a way, I see Instagram as like a creator to creator platform. So it's all, everyone's a creator on there. Everyone can be famous. Everyone can do everything. Whereas on TikTok, it's very much more so like a creator to viewer platform. So I'm the creator and then everyone else is a viewer. So you'll often see that I'll go on a profile that say follows me and they've only posted one video ever or nothing. Like it's very common for that to be the case. Yeah. Whereas on Instagram, you can click over to someone's profile and it's like, it seems to go on forever.
This is so true because if you look at how you use Instagram and most of the people you're talking to are other peers in the industry. That is, and then your algorithm is just getting flooded with those people all the time. So it should be an obvious statement, but I think that's absolutely right. You know, the audience on TikTok, they're not people who are contributing necessarily to TikTok.
They want to be entertained as well. Like they want that entertainment factor. Whereas I think people, and like you've already said, Jason, like you do use Instagram Reels in that way, but like there's just something different about TikTok in terms of the way when you open the app, it straight away serves you content on the For You page, and it's not content from people that you necessarily know all the time as well. Yeah. So you're flicking through, and it's almost like sort of like roll of the dice every time you slide up, and to sort of see something. And the way that they position their content as well is that you're always kind of going to see something that's, you know, sort of strong content, and then also see something that's not, and it's like they mix it all in really well so that they can, it's just incredible. Whereas on Instagram, most of the time what I see is if I scroll through Reels is I'll just see really popular content. I won't see any kind of like mid-tier or lower tier kind of content, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. So how do you, on TikTok, obviously there's a lot of content getting shown. I know there's as much on Instagram, but there's a lot of content on TikTok, and I find that sometimes you'll get shown something from months ago because it's just going through the rounds. But how are you creating content on TikTok that is going to stop the scroll and get people engaged in a cloud, like in a sea of content? How is wedding content how are you finding the audience?
I mean, like, you know, what's a secret weapon in a way? It's like the question to this one, isn't it? I think for me, like, you all have to kind of find like your own way of doing this. And I did a talk recently, and I was like, I don't want you all to become me, and like with the Insta360 cameras and things like that. I want everyone to kind of find their niche. And I've just quickly flicked over to, is it Julianne? Is it?
Yeah, Julianne White.
Like to just quickly have a look at her content, and straight away I was like, oh yeah, I can see why this works. Like I can see what she's kind of doing here, and she's kind of followed a mold there. I mean, whether she wants to admit it or not, I don't really know, or whether she's even seen this mold or is even aware that she's following this mold. That a lot of people are doing in other different industries, which is like kind of like unfiltered approach and that kind of talking to the camera, and often talking to the camera, you know, sort of like not completely dolled up, like, you know, she like just in the moment of whatever thought train she's kind of having and stuff, and that's kind of working for her. And I think with the 360 stuff, like that kind of works for me. And sometimes if I post a non-360 video, it doesn't really land at all, and people are like, what is this? And sort of showing my face in kind of like a more sort of like studio lit environment, talking about cameras for a bit, and, you know, people send me gear to review and stuff like that, people would be like, what's this? Like, because they're so used to seeing that kind of like 360 angle. So I suppose it's kind of about sort of finding your niche and then sort of hammering it home. But I think the main thing with TikTok is that it's you can't really expect us to post like 1 or 2 videos and just expect to see results from it. It's kind of needs that time of like, say, 30 days of consistently posting every single day. I mean, if we want to go way back, when I was testing this out, I was posting twice a day for about 2 months at one point.
Yeah.
So I was really, because I wanted the analytics, I wanted to sort of like start to like learn how it was behaving towards my content, to see what had happened, what I'd do well, what I wouldn't do well. And there is some content now that I post, and it's recycled content from like maybe last year, and I'm like, this should do really well. It didn't do before. Is it going to do again? And I'll change the edit a bit and see what happens, and maybe I'll get a few more thousand. But there's just not something that seems to grab sometimes. So sometimes it's not even like, you can't even tell. Like, you know, you'll have like 15 amazing videos, and one of them will do really well, and you'll be like, why aren't the other 14 doing that well? Do you know what I mean? Even though you kind of feel like you're following the same mold of like putting a hook at the start of the video, keeping it kind of light and informative. But yeah, there's just something special about some videos. And one of my first videos I think it got like 7.6 million or something at the time. It was only a 10-second clip that I just put up for a joke in a way. It was kind of more towards the kind of like the Josh Hoggett kind of end of 360 videos where it's like the shock and awe type stuff, which I don't really do too much anymore. But I basically, I was doing a group photograph, and then I always remove like the sister's boyfriend and, you know, call it a safety shot just in case they like get divorced or whatever. And like that's quite brash of me and my personality to put that online. And like it just got like loads of comments of people saying like, oh my god, if you did this to me, I would die. I'd want to go run away and hide an abortion. And other people were saying, this is amazing. My sister's boyfriend cheated on her and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, it's sort of ignited that conversation. But I think a lot of the time you've got to be looking to make content which has got a high retention rate. So a bit what I think Danny was saying earlier, like half the people have watched the video the whole way through. That's always the biggest indicator is how long they make it through the whole video. And if they make it halfway through and then all drop off at the same time, re-edit the video to halfway and send it again. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And learning things like that.
That's where trial reels come in for Instagram. Yeah. Obviously, that's like super good because I will try now different variations of the same reel to see what works. Different caption, different, you know, hook at the start of the video kind of thing, just to see if it works.
As long as you do that on a different day, because Instagram has said if you upload the same reel on the same day, they will reduce it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because that I saw that.
Well, how would they know if it was like a completely different edit?
If it's a completely different edit, it's not the same video. I guess it's more like if you're uploading it with different hooks and stuff like that. If it's got the same audio, because essentially most of the content is basically audio synced to their system, so they know what kind of what's in it. But they said that if you
think upload, that's what they're reading is the audio. Then do you think they read the audio, and if it's exactly the same, they'll be like, not.
I think it definitely is a massive. I mean, that's how YouTube will flag any sort of copyright because they can understand the sound waves. So that's got something to do with it. They definitely will be able to see video wise of what's you know, the AI can read what's going on. But they just said if you upload multiple trial reels a day, I think the limit was 5. They said
5 a day.
5 a day is kind of what you shouldn't be kind of pushing beyond. But who knows if they're actually limiting it or not.
It's funny that they've kind of like made this thing that's got like the same reach as TikTok in a weird and wonderful way, where you can post any video and it goes out to the mass audience to grab attention. And then they've gone, oh, actually, we want to limit that. Like, whereas like that's what everyone kind of wants. Like, so I've been using trial reels for the last 2 months now and just posted just videos from last year, different edits, just random stuff, and just seeing what, you know, just grabbing. I've gained like 250 followers in like the last month or something on Instagram, which is, you know, Instagram growth is slow at the best of times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like that's been really interesting to me. But then at the same time, I'm like, is this kind of growth that I want? Because a lot of the people are looking at their profiles, they'll be like, oh, from Georgia or in America or something, and I'm like, do I really want that follower?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And
I mean, followers these days are kind of null and void, really. Anyway, I mean, you will get people who follow you before they're engaged and they kind of want to do it, but most of the time, people are only following you because they want to make a booking. Like, so getting like massive followers, it gets great social proof, but it really doesn't. It's not the be all and end all, and you can go viral without having a massive following.
100%, especially on TikTok as well. But in terms of the number of followers and stuff, it does. I've found that like the more and more followers I get on something like TikTok or Instagram and stuff like that, it does really help, like you say, social proof wise, and also companies want to send you free stuff all the time, which is great. but at the same time, it's not like the be all and end all, but it does help a lot. Like, you know, it's that weird, like kind of like sort of like, oh, because I know like there's a lot of people at the top of the game that go, oh, you don't worry about followers, just do what you do, and it's like, yeah, that's easy to say when you got like 20k or like, you know, 10k or whatever sort of thing, and then they've only got like 400 or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, totally. Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps with the social proof. I was speaking to Zaid this morning about that fact, and just obviously because he was talking about that viral reel that just for me that happened there, which is really the same kind of thing. You know, wasn't really expecting anything from it, and there you go, boom, 19 mil. But the followers obviously that you get for it, like you do get followers on the back of reels like that, but it's just people that are following because it's a funny reel. You know, it's not, you're not probably gonna get the. Because remember a while ago when we were looking at profiles, you had 20,000 followers. I had at the time 5. My engagement was so much higher than yours for my posts.
Yeah.
Likes, the actual, just all the analytics on there. And now that I'm now at 20,000 followers, I'm kind of like what you were back then.
Yeah. I mean, I gained 15,000 followers from an 8-second video.
Yeah.
And it had, you know, it was a bridesmaid. It wasn't even me. It was a bridesmaid.
Is that the Usain Bolt?
Yeah. And I gained 15,000 followers from that video. I went from 2,000 to 17,000 in a matter of days. And I just had a completely screwed algorithm. I mean, over time, I balanced it out by posting way more videos. And now my engagement's great because I've nurtured the account, and I've got, and I have had a steady growth with that as well. And the correct kind of followers too. But yeah, that's where I kind of was a bit shaded on like the followers. It looks great, but it's not everything.
It's just, it's, what's the word? It's,
smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, I with the trial reels effort, I've had like 1 million engage, like, you know, in the professional dashboard.
Yeah,
it's like 1 million like views or engagement in the last month, and like 250 followers from that. And I'm like, is any of this actually worth it? I'll probably say one inquiry maybe linked to it.
Yeah,
but my account on Instagram works really well. And before I used to talk about TikTok loads, I used to talk about Instagram loads. My account always works really well now because I've got a really nurtured following, like you were just saying, Jason, as well. Like all those people that have followed me, it's been very intentional over the years, and it's come from me sharing photos from their weddings, things like their friends' weddings and things like that. And I've just really just brought that community together, and I talk to them like they're sort of my family in a way a lot of the times. And I have like little special things, like I use a close friends feature for all my past, present, and future couples at the moment as well. And I just really nurture that. And what I don't want to do is I don't want to gain followers on Instagram that then dilutes that, like we were just saying, and almost makes it not work as well. Because I've helped other people, like, and big names in the photography industry who've got like 20,000, 40,000 followers, and their engagement on a story is like 100 views. Like my stories can get like 1,000 to 2,000 views, like, which I'm really, really happy with at the moment. And to see it from the other angle where you go, oh, this account looks like it knows everything and it gets everything, but it gets like 5 likes a picture or whatever, and it gets like 0 engagements. You need to almost like have that kind of nurture community so that you're getting that interaction from every post. Else it's just pointless, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a waste of time.
Talk quickly about that close friend feature, because I think some people may have seen close friends but didn't necessarily know how to activate it. And how do you utilize it?
Yeah, so Close Friends is a feature on Instagram that was brought in so that you could have almost like a private function within a public profile. So you can post posts, pretty sure reels, but I mainly use it for stories to just your close friends. So this is, if you go into your hamburger menu, which is those 3 lines in your profile, and you'll scroll down, you'll see a Close Friends feature there. You can add people into that. So I've purposely, over the years, added all my couples into that feature. So now, for example, me and Sarah, our little family, we went up to see my sister in mid Wales. I say up, it's like sideways. And we went to the beach the other week, and we went to the arcades and stuff. And it was some funny videos and stuff. And I didn't really want to share the fact that I was away from my house and then it could get burgled and things like that with everyone. So that's a really cool way of like sharing that with the close friends. And what happens is that, for example, if I'm sharing a story, that'll pop up with a green circle rather than like the multicolored, purpley, orangey thing that Instagram normally has. So it's quite like eye-catching to go, oh, what's this? Like sort of thing, because it stands out from literally everything on the platform. Nothing else is that color.
It also pushes it to the front as well, I think, doesn't it?
Yeah. And then they can then see that. So like all my couples see that, and they feel almost like that more connection to me because they're in that inner circle. And sometimes I've done in the past, which is a really good one. I was looking at adding videography at one point ages ago, and I was like, how can I best do this? And I did a poll within my close friends, and each story was a poll, and it's basically like customer feedback. But like, I don't know if you've ever sent an email out to get like someone to fill in a Google form, and they just don't do it, do they? Yeah. Whereas like, on Instagram, it's quite gamified. So like I did that, and I was like, how much would you spend on videography if you're going to get it? Like, what kind of thing are you looking for? Blah, blah, blah.
£500.
You know, say again, sorry?
£500.
Yeah, big time. But yeah, no, and then what they didn't then realize was that I was actually getting someone on board, and I knew then which of the couples to then target that would have that capital to spend on videography in the future. So like you can almost use it to like manipulate the audience in a way and sort of see what they really think without directly asking them. You know, I can't just go up to a couple and be like, I want to sell you videography. How much will you give me for it? Like, you know what I mean? And stuff like that. But I've used it for loads of different things in the past. But it's great at that, like a kind of personal life share, because I know a lot of people don't want to put their full personal life on Instagram and stuff. And then also good at like utilizing them as like a customer bank of information.
Yeah, you can also use it for like your editing backlog, stuff like that, because your
That's
couples.
a good one. Yeah, you don't want to make it seem like you're like behind to everyone, but maybe just to the couples.
That's a really good idea. I really quite like that idea. Still delivering your wedding films by USB?
Ew.
We use Vidflow, the sleekest platform for delivering your wedding films. It makes your couples feel like they've got their own private Netflix.
Plus, with their white labeling service, you can customize everything from the branding to the custom domain, so you can make it super personal.
Want to wow your clients? Use the code TWVP10 to get 10% off all pro plans, including white labeling service.
Head on over to vidflow.co today and level up your wedding film delivery experience.
Let's talk about backlog.
Woo!
Editing piles up fast and is overwhelming.
That's why we use brideandgroom.video, a wedding editing company that delivers stunning wedding films faster without compromising on quality.
If you're looking for an editor that's going to match your unique style so it feels like you've made them, you found them.
Use code TWVP75 at checkout to get £75 off your first order and try out their service.
Clear your backlog and grow your business. Try brideandgroom.video today.
Hasta la vista, backlog. In terms of, so say somebody's, they've downloaded the TikTok app, they've maybe posted a couple of things on it, not had much success, like I think majority of people have then just went, nope, not today, Satan, and put it away. What advice could you give them, or like what, you know, maybe like in terms of like homework for the next month to go away and do, and to try and start doing, to maybe just start playing about with it and posting stuff on there? Like what type of content should they maybe think about putting up there, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, like what a great time of year as well. I know videographers are all struggling with their backlog, but surely now, if ever, within the season is a kind of great time to sort of have a look at this. And straight off the bat, I'll sort of say that I actually really like the platform. I use it as a form of entertainment. Like often watch loads of videos. I've got loads of creators that I follow on the platform. Like, and the only like other thing, I watch films as well, like big time. I'm not massively into series on TV. I can't read. I've got several issues where I'm like just can't get into books and stuff like that. So like my form of entertainment is like going to the gym, doing that kind of keeping fit stuff, TikTok and movies. Like they're like my big sort of three in a way. And that might seem pretty sad to some people, but like I use TikTok mainly for like things like cooking. So I love to cook, so it gives me loads of recipes and files and things like that, and I can follow those people for that. I love woodwork. It gives me loads of creators to do with that. Obviously love films, like I've already said, it gives me loads of creators to do with that. But then it also just feeds like random entertainment as well, obviously. So I think it's important to actually use the platform for a good while so that the algorithm begins to understand what you like, and, you know, hold down on the screen and put not interested if you don't like a video, so that that then knows what to feed you from there on in, so that then you can eventually be fed some people's content that you kind of are interested in, or it at least inspires you to then think about the way that you want to use the platform. So we spoke a bit about niches earlier, and Julianne and myself are both doing very different things, but then there's other people doing even more different things as well. So there's loads of different ways you can sort of attack this beast. And the great thing about it is that this is a whole new thing still. I mean, I've been using it for like 4 years now, but you can come on the platform and almost like invent your niche in a way, the way you're going to do things, and then sort of use that as a template to then go forward. So after you've had a look at the kind of platform and you've worked out how it kind of works and things like that, my suggestion, and once again, like no one knows the answers to these platforms. We're all hypothesizing and trying to work it out as best we can from doing as much as we can on them. But my suggestion would always be that you're going to post every day for a month at least. And to do that straight away off nothing is really hard. So I always say make a bank of videos, save them in your drafts on the platform, and then post one a day. You know, set an alarm on your phone to post it at 10 o'clock every morning. It doesn't really matter about the time of day you're going to post it. If it's a great video, it's going to do well at any time of day. And then just see how that then performs. And then after the month, review and evaluate what's done well, why it's done well. Take the same 30 videos, re-edit them within that style of what's done well, repost them, and then keep going.
Yeah.
Add new content in there as well, and then keep going and keep going.
And we're maybe suggesting here as well, like a mix of content here. So that being maybe just like obviously just general, maybe like shots. You know, it could be confetti shots or whatever. Basically, shots from the wedding. Maybe some funny moments that have happened from the weddings, much like obviously the one that I had that's went viral. Maybe parts of speeches, maybe. So there's like audio touch points that you can use. They also do well. And then also, would you suggest maybe some like actual them talking into camera if they're comfortable with it as well then?
It all depends the way they want to go about it, really, and eventually they'll sort of like find their niche and the way they like kind of doing it. I've seen one guy, he literally just posts speech videos, like it's like, oh, check out this hilarious best man speech, and it will show the whole best man speech, and like that's all he does is just post speech videos, and there might be some random thing in there, but yeah, he's got quite a few followers off there and earns quite a bit on the creator fund like myself, but yeah, it all depends which way you want to kind of attack it. I mean, my face on videos are purely just for selling education and stuff like that. So it's photographer to photographer, business to business, that is, which is not beneficial to gaining clients. So to mix that in, you kind of got to do it quite softly in a way. Yeah. But yeah, I would just say you've got to kind of think of like the general population and dumbing stuff down enough that it sort of appeals to everyone. I don't like the word dumbing down because I think the audience is quite intelligent in a way, and I don't like this kind of whole thing with like it's a brain dead app and things like that, like, because I just don't think it is at all, and there are loads of people doing amazing things on there. But yeah, you've got to kind of put it to a way where it's going to be like averagely sort of like received by everyone, and how that works for you is going to be how it works for you. Like I've seen people do the Insta360 stuff who, you know, not sounding harsh, but don't have as big a personality on a wedding day as me, and they're more into the kind of technical side of photography, and that's okay. But like that kind of content isn't going to then work for them to sell their business. So they need to come up with like another angle in terms of that and what they're kind of going to do. In terms of videographers, though, I think like the key thing is just to make it sort of like acceptable and almost like not make it seem like jarring compared to everyone else. So if you scroll down TikTok and have a look at the amount of like sort of professionally edited things you see directly straight away, it's super rare. I found a videographer the other day though. I was just scrolling through, and I hate wedding content. I don't follow any wedding photographers or videographers on any of my platforms. I find it a bit too much and overwhelming for myself. But I was scrolling the other day and I got fed this video, and it was like he filmed it like POV on an iPhone, and he walks into like his editing studio or whatever, and he's like, oh my god, just finished this edit, how great, like how much hours this took. And it was like that he just put that on the screen in words, which is always important to put it on TikTok so it can read it, whereas if you load it in from another app, it can't read it. That's how I see it anyway. And then he comes in and then he does a transition into the cinematic video. Now I will share a link with you guys if you want to put it in the show notes. So yeah. I've put it in my social media group the other day as a way people could do this. But the way he did it was like, he took like, you know, if you're scrolling down and you're seeing on this kind of iPhone footage of people just going, oh, here's my day in the life of being a woodworker or whatever. Oh, here's some 10 great films you want to watch this year. Then all of a sudden, it's still iPhone footage, but it almost morphs you into the cinema. And then all of a sudden, I was like enthralled. I was like, it's one of the best wedding videos I've seen in a long time. Like, I was like, he managed to like, he put out a little hook, and I was like, I was buying, man. I was on it. I was gone. That was really interesting. That was, and he's got quite a few.
You'll need to send that over so that we can have a look at it. Yeah,
on you go.
No, I was going to say there's two things I kind of just wanted to ask you then. So one is how many bookings or how much success are you having from getting bookings off of TikTok?
Let's go stats. Let's do it.
Ruben will be ecstatic.
I'm a chronic oversharer, if anything, because I almost feel like I need to prove to the world that I am doing well quite a lot of times. And I think although my photos, I would say, are like above average, but they, you know, they're not any like documentary award-winning kind of things because I'm not too bothered about that. So this is my kind of like version of doing that. So this year, I've had 410 inquiries in total this year, not from TikTok, but from everything.
Yeah.
On TikTok alone, 82 inquiries, 7 booked. Then on TikTok last year, 128 inquiries, 17 booked. So over the last 2 years, it's been my main source of inquiries. So it's done incredibly well. And in terms of, I think I worked out monetary value of this the other day, but it was an insane amount of money. And the other thing that we briefly mentioned earlier, while I look up the monetary value, was the fact that we've got the TikTok Creator Fund, which is insanely powerful as well.
That was my next question. So
yeah, so $3,000, I think $3,500 off the TikTok Creator Fund in the last year, which is not to be snuffed at. You know what I mean? When I'm posting the same content as I'm posting to Instagram, in a comparison, I'm now monetized on Facebook, and I got 60 quid for the last 3 months, which is like nothing really compared.
$3,000, because you done all right off of the early days of the Creator Fund when it was like being mega money.
My viral days on TikTok were in 2022, and I did exactly as you said. I posted every single day for 2 months, and after 30 days, I started getting traction. And it was never really pictures of me or videos of me. It was moments from weddings, moments that I thought were hilarious or awkward or funny, but it was that was the style I was going down. And then when it hit hard. Everything just started going. Like, I went from get an average maybe 2,000 views. I wouldn't post anything that wouldn't hit less than 100,000 views after that, and it just kept going and going and going. And I was getting about £600 to £800 a month at that time because it was the old fund. That lasted for about 5 months, and then they said, "Hey, sign up to our new program, which is here to help you be, more creative, more, stuff." But it included the rules of having to be over a minute. It included less money on the front. It did start higher, and then they brought the money right down. And then for the same amount of views, I think I've made 600 quid since being on that. But I haven't really been active as much on TikTok. I think that really killed the fuel for me a little bit. So, it's
that consistency that's difficult, isn't it?
But I'm inspired. I feel inspired. I'm ready to go. I've got
that. So in the last 2 years, and this was a figure taken in October, the start of October. So I've booked a few more since then. But 22 bookings on TikTok in the last 2 years, equaling £51,000 in income for the business. And then my creator fund in the last year has been $3,797. So and part of that standard reward was $1,500, and then additional reward was $2,300. So, and that additional reward comes from, they give like a bonus to videos that are informative and really engaging and things like that. How they measure that, I do not know, but I assume it's through retention and comments and things like that.
Have you ever had a warning from them saying your content's not original?
Oh no!
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah, I my last viral TikTok got what was it?
No original.
Struck down because they said that it wasn't original enough. I bloody scripted that Office thing. Like, it was an Office.
Maybe it's because it's the Office, though.
But
yeah, I know, but do you know what I mean?
No, but it wasn't Office characters.
I know, but
they were Scottish.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right. Was it based on the Office TV show?
Yeah, it was an Office mockumentary, but at a wedding. It did have the black bars on the top, so it was horizontal. So I wonder if that had something to do with it. But either way, that got struck down, and I was annoyed.
They just want to be careful, don't they, in terms of monetizing people to, like, who are doing stuff like that, making money off the back of it, because those big corporations that make those kind of TV shows and stuff are the ones that have got the the lawyer money. They can lawyer up pretty quickly.
Yeah, I suppose. But
so you said obviously that you on your TikTok you've got like kind of like photographer to photographer kind of like education stuff. So what education kind of is it that you offer?
And can videographers come too?
Basically, my education has always run sort of side on from my business, and it comes to the end of the year. I don't know if this is like you guys. I'm like, oh my god, I'm done with weddings. Time to focus on that now, sort of thing. And I've made various digital workshops. One for Instagram, which is pretty old now, that just needs a renewal. One for how to do behind the scenes edited and all those kind of things, and then one for TikTok as well. So that's on my website, adamlowndes.co.uk/education. But I'm also launching kind of a Adam Lowndes education, totally different website. But if you go to my Instagram or TikTok, Adam Lowndes photography, you'll find these links there, and you can always just DM me. But I think my biggest useful thing at the moment is, I'm not sure if you guys are actually in it, but I've got a free social media help group, which is on Facebook. So I found all the Facebook groups like highly distracting, and I used to just love posting in them and, you know, love being part of that kind of community. But I found that I was just doing no work. So I was like, right, screw all that. I'll just make my own where I can just post my musings on social media. So when I find out like new things and new features to do with like, say, Instagram, or like if I'm doing like a bit of like test, like with the trial reels at the moment, I'll like do massive deep dive, like sort of like essays in that group. About like what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, what results it's had, and then every now and again I'll share like an overall of like my year in terms of like how things are going, what bookings I've taken, and I'll share like monetary value, what I'm doing with the VAT threshold and things like that. So there's loads of like gold in there. So if you're struggling with social media or you just want like an insight into my life and want to be nosy a bit more, that's social media plus wedding photography / videography. There you go.
Cool.
On
if
Facebook.
you DM us, and then we'll add it to the show notes as well. DM
yeah,
us
I'll put it on there, and then you can go for that. But
Perfect.
that's sort of like a sort of a free, sort of enjoyable little thing at the moment.
Amazing.
That's brilliant.
No, this has been a super interesting conversation. I think like our listeners will get loads out of this one because I know I have and I know you have.
I thought I had my finger on the pulse with Instagram, but I clearly do not.
Oh, what I made you realize about
that
Instagram?
whole close friend thing? I didn't even think about utilizing it. It's such a genius idea. I've got people have got me in their close friends thing, and I've never made a close friends group. That's
I
just
think with stuff on like Instagram and any platform, you've just got to kind of look at all the features and be like, is this useful? Can I use it? And like, is it going to make me stand out? Do you know?
Yeah.
That's why I just think like everyone else is over here doing this. Like, can I do something with all of this? Like, and sort of like, yeah, make something from it. I mean, that close friend thing I've been doing for years and years and years now. And every time I do tell people, they go, "Oh yeah, that's actually pretty." What's it? But it's one of those little like tips.
yeah.
No, it's good. It's great. But I thank you so much for coming on and sharing all of that knowledge with us in the community because like loads to unpack from that. One question though that we do like to ask all of our guests that come on the podcast, just to humanize people a little bit more, is to ask them what your biggest balls up at a wedding has been.
So quite a lot of my like TikTok videos obviously show behind the scenes stuff, and although I don't like kind of doing that kind of like a shame angle that some photographers do, where they show other people, they go, "Look at this horrible registrar doing this horrible thing." You know what I mean? If I make a mistake, that's caught like I'm going for it. It's getting uploaded. It's getting on there. And twice now, I've knocked flowers over during the ceremony, and both of them have got incredible views and doing a lot of money on TikTok. So yeah, long may it continue, really. But yeah, one was a while ago, and that was one of my first viral videos. The florist had basically like used those like crocodile clips, something to one of those like like the moon door things, like a ceremony. And I'm 6'7" and don't have much control over many of my limbs, so my arse knocked into that and it flew to the floor. It actually broke the ice for the wedding. Like the ceremony, the couple was still like this far apart, and they were like kind of like blank faces the whole time. And it actually made the ceremony better, I thought. And I was just like, I picked it up, I was just like, I'll just leave it on the side. and then recently, there was like it was outdoors, and there was like milk churns at the front, and there was like a little gap between the milk churn and this like, one of those like pagoda-y things that no one was standing under other than one registrar writing all the information down. And I squeezed through it a few times already. I was like, I'll squeeze through it again. And I went through and like knocked these flowers on the floor, and they were the friend of the family had done them. And like with normal floristry stuff, it sort of stays together if it gets knocked around. This does absolutely shit. The thing, it went everywhere. There's flowers everywhere. Like on the video, I'm like picking it up, it's falling into pieces. Like, trying to put it back together, and I'm just like, sorry. So, like, and the couple were absolutely loving it. Like, once again, I don't know what it is about my couples. They just love when I make these kind of mistakes.
That's funny.
So great about it. But then at the end on the video, you can see I'm like thanking the registrar because like he didn't draw any attention to it in a bad way. He was like, what's that? And he even was going to come to help me and stuff. And I was just like, oh, mate, thank you so much for like not what's in that. And then later on, like people were giving it a bit of banter, you know what I mean? Oh, careful, Adam, as you walk past her. And it's like, I'm not doing it on purpose, obviously, or am I? But like, it does humanize the whole thing, I think. And I think that's like a really strong thing about my brand is that like I show the good and the bad, like in a way of like what goes wrong and stuff like that. And there was was something a few years ago where I was doing sparklers and somehow managed to knock my lens into manual focus or something. And then I was like too busy doing the Adam Lowndes show. Let's get the sparklers, come on, let's rev it up, let's go. And then like just didn't check my camera again before they were about to go, even though it was all set up prior ages ago. And I was like, didn't have that kind of like, third check. And I like pulled it up in my face and I'm like, oh my God, can't focus. What? And I was just panicking. Then got to the end and the sweat was like pouring. And I was just like what should I do? What should I do?
What's wrong with Adam? He's been a bit quiet.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, don't know what to do. And then I was like, someone was like, oh, we still got 20 sparklers left. And I was like, oh my God, that is my life. Like, that is my life. Like, so I said to the guys, I went straight up to them and I was just like, and this is, if I can tell anything to anyone, be honest with couples on a wedding day straight away, because it's easier to do it then than it is afterwards. If you go up to them afterwards and go, oh, I missed that shot, they can be a lot harsher than on the day. So like, I went up to them, I was like, guys, I don't know what happened. I don't know what was going on, but I miss the sparklers. You're not in focus. It's just people react like it's terrible. Like, I don't want to use it, but we've got 20 sparklers here. Why don't we go over and have like a private family sparkler session? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We went over and did that.
There you go.
I shared a post about it on my social media.
Upgrade.
Say again, sorry.
The upgrade. A private
Yeah. I shared a post on my social media with the picture, the final picture, and then with the failed picture. It's like a slide across carousel, and I did a big long conversation about it. And you know what? Like, it just builds rapport with couples because they,
totally,
they
you're
they
honest.
know we're
It
in the
shows that you're
human
honest.
stuff,
You're not
like-
just going to try and hide stuff,
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's no hiding for that.
No hiding from that. No.
Amazing. Right, well, Adam, thank you so much again for coming on today. Like I said, we've got loads out of it, and I'm actually really excited myself to listen back to it. So thank you so much for taking the time out to come and chat with us. It's been awesome.
Yeah, amazing. Loved it.
Well, no issues. Been super fun, and thank you for having me on.
No, not at all, mate.
And once again, maybe if you don't want to sign up to TikTok, maybe don't do it, and I'll just have all the fun. It's all good. It's all good.
We're coming for you, Adam. We're coming for you.
Where can people find you on like Instagram and TikTok? What's your handles?
Yeah, so it's all just Adam Lowndes. Lowndes is spelled Lowndes. Photography on across every social media platform, or adamlowndes.co.uk. And yeah, you'll find me on there and DM me, and we can chat about anything and everything.
Amazing. Well, that is all we've got time for this week, folks. Hope you've got loads out of it. I know Jase and I have. And yeah, we'll see you next week. But for now, I've been Danny.
I've been Jase.
And I've been Adam.
See you next week.